Transformers took an entire generation of kids by storm back in the 80s. Toys of various vehicles and objects that can convert into robots in quick and easy steps. It's no wonder it became as big as it did. It had its own TV show which later led to a feature film, all in an act to sell toys. Once Transformers was dying down, Hasbro brought it back to a new generation of kids with Beast Wars! After that, Hasbro continued the franchise with many different forms of media, up until 2007. A pivotal moment for the franchise when a live-action blockbuster rendition of the Transformers was set to release, with Michael Bay at the helms.
One of the coolest things I think I've ever seen, and the crazy part about this is that a triple car looks like after it fully transforms, and this...
When someone brings up the Michael Bay films, the average person's first thought is about how bad they were. But personally, I think that's unfair, because in my opinion, only one of them is actually bad, and even then, it's still pretty enjoyable. Oh, I forgot about them.
Pre-existing juvenile foundational relationship.
I love the first three films, despite their varying quality.
I am directly below!
But today I'm going to be looking specifically at Michael Bay's first venture into the franchise, and how it looked to be setting up a great trilogy of films. Even though it was not met with critical success, it was most definitely successful commercially, raking in a whopping $700 million at the box office. And no doubt selling tons of merchandise, ranging from action figures all the way to play shave sets. Why did they make this? The story is really nothing to write home about. The Autobots and Decepticons have brought their war to Earth in search of the Allspark, which was the creator of the Cybertronians, but I'm pretty sure they retcon that in the later movies. I don't really remember much of 4 and 5. Sam Witwicky, better known as
Ladiesman 217,
is our first human protagonist we're introduced to, and he's thrown into the story when he goes to get his first car, which just so happens to be our boy Bumblebee. We also get to meet the love interest of the film, Michaela, to which Michael Bay gets right to it with showing her off. Bumblebee takes Sam and Michaela to meet the rest of the Autobots, Optimus, Ironhide, Ratchet, and Jazz. They all go to Sam's home looking for a pair of glasses that aren't as important as they're made out to be. Sam and Michaela then get arrested by Sector 7 and they capture Bumblebee, and they're all brought to the Hoover Dam, where it's revealed that they have the Allspark and Megatron in their custody. And obviously, Megatron doesn't stay in there for long, as this is a movie and it needs a bad guy, so he breaks out. But the Autobots get the Allspark before he does. This then leads to a massive final battle, and it's really fun to watch. It's just a bunch of robots beating the shit out of each other for 20 minutes or so. Sam then puts the cube in Megatron's chest, which kills him. Prime spits some bars, and that's the end. It's really nothing special. A pretty basic blockbuster Marvel type story. Bad guy wants super powerful thing, good guy wants to get it before bad guy to stop bad things happening. They fight, bad guy dies, and then just throw in some solid action, a sexy woman, and that's pretty much Transformers 2007. That being said, it's still a fun watch, and definitely one of the better stories from the live-action films. Since it was the first attempt at live-action Transformers, you can sorta let some of the problems slide, and you can see that give it another movie or two, and they'll have the Transformers formula down. And then they drop this, so clearly I'm going insane. But if we're being real, no one should be walking into a film about a kid's toy and expect a magnificent story. But it should at least be fun to watch. Which is why the two most recent films, to me, are great, as they're simple stories that know they're just there to sell toys, but they still try to be enjoyable watches, which they succeed in doing, and so does this first film. No matter who you are or what your opinion on this film is, it's impossible to deny how insane the CGI and visuals are in this movie. Every single time a robot's on screen, it is so hard not to be mesmerized by how good they look. Okay, I want you to imagine it's 2007, and you've just bought your ticket to this summer's newest blockbuster. You make your way into the theater and sit down. The lights dim, and the film begins. And the first scene you see is this. This has to be one of my favorite scenes from any of the Transformers films. It immediately lets you know that you are in for one wild ride. Michael Bay immediately puts the visual effects on show. Like, this transformation is just so cool. And then we get to watch him rampage through a military base with real pyrotechnic explosions that really make the robots seem real. It is just such a great scene to open a film with. And it's not just this scene either. Every time a robot is on screen, it is just magical. Like the fight between Bonecrusher and Optimus, or any part of the final battle for that matter, are all amazing to watch. Like, who doesn't enjoy massive robots knocking the head off each other? Every piece of CGI still holds up amazingly to this day, and I think it will for many more years. Like, Thanos? Fuck that. Show me some robot death, thank you very much. Whilst we're on CGI, I think we may as well talk about the robots' designs. To me, every one of these are amazing. Like, Michael Bay's Megatron is one of my favorite looks for the character. Optimus is another one, where it's just so iconic now, and it just works. At the time though, the designs had to be one of the biggest complaints for many older fans, we'll say. But now, I feel like these designs are loved loved by a massive portion of the Transformers community. And to many, these are the definitive versions of these characters. Like, these are the ones tons of fans grew up with, which is why Studio Series is such a loved toy line by me and many others. The sound design in this film is so satisfying. Every sound the robots make are just so enjoyable to listen to. The transformations have to be the best sounding things in the film. With all the metal clashing together, every sound just matches the movements perfectly, and it really brings them to life. Along with the sound effects, we also need to mention the voice acting. Megatron's voice in this film is one of my favorites I have ever heard.
I smell you, boy!
Even though the voice actor did put in next to no effort, due to this just being a toy commercial. And then you have the one and only Peter Cullen, voicing Prime as good as ever. But his performance is elevated by the sound editing and design.
Humans don't deserve to live. They deserve to choose for themselves.
Because the robots all have these big booming voices as if they're actually made by massive robots.
I'm going to turn into a truck now. Birch, ding ding.
Accompanied with an absolutely amazing score from Steve Jablonsky, I'm hearing no complaints from my ears.
Autobots, roll out. We roll.
There's a sort of timelessness to this first Transformers film, and I say that because of how many people still enjoy the film to this day. Yeah, I guess you could say that about any movie or film franchise, but I say it's timeless mainly for the fact that it's still managing to sell toys, even now, in 2023, 16 years later. And that's amazing, because that's what the film was made to do, so it's clearly succeeded. Even though the story wasn't a masterpiece in writing, it's enjoyable, and pair that along with everything else I've talked about, it's no wonder this film made such an impact, and drew so many fans into the franchise. If you were to go back and watch this movie for the first time, you'd imagine that its sequels would be better, or at least close to the same level of quality as this one. But it's clear that after the success of the first film, they really decided to put next to no effort into making the 4 sequels. Dark of the Moon is the one exception, because it's just as good, if not better, than the first one, and it's irritating that that's the case, because it just proves that even if they cared a little, we might have had 4 decent to good sequels, but instead we got these abominations.
I am directly below. Enemy screwed on road simulator. Enemy screwed. Enemy screwed. Enemy screwed. Enemy screwed. Enemy screwed.
But hey, at least Transformers is finally getting justice in the live-action world, with the Bumblebee movie and the most recent entry, Rise of the Beasts. The seeds to success were spread all throughout the first film, but they just weren't given the right conditions to grow. But maybe in another world, we got an amazing trilogy that built off the groundwork that this film laid. So, this is my first attempt at a long-form video in this style, so I doubt it's the best you'll ever watch, but even if you watch to the end, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any suggestions on ways I can improve my next shot at a video like this, please leave a comment, as all criticisms welcome.